Hey, it's Clay at ClayTrader.com. This will be a live trade video where I try to capture some of my trades as they play out live. A couple quick clarifications. Number one, I am trading futures. If you don't know what futures are, I'll put a link down below to a totally free 4-part series that walks through the futures market and how it all works. One little thing that maybe gets you interested, actually not a little thing, big thing, there's no pattern day trading rule. So if you find yourself trapped in the world of stocks or options under that day trader rule, you don't have to put up with that nonsense. Futures move way better anyways, and there's no pattern day trading rule. Second, I am trading futures through a prop firm. What is a prop firm? How does a prop firm work? Which prop firm am I using? All that is at the link you can see at the top of the screen there. I'll also put it down in the description area. But in a nutshell, a prop firm is a way for you to have very little of your own money at risk, but then you have a whole lot of upside potential. So if that sounds like something that could be of value, then definitely check out the link, or let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. So I will pause the screen recording software for now, and I'll be back as soon as I find a potential trade. All right, I'm going to look for a buy at this green line if the price wants to come back up. So if it doesn't come back up, well, then there will be no buy. But if it wants to recover back from down here, then I will look for a buy. But as of right now, all right, never mind. Not even making an attempt to come back up. So, all right. Oh, and I should note that I'm actually starting off a little bit in the green. That is one of the other nice things about futures, is that they're open 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. So in other words, if you're a super busy person, there's still going to be a time, well, I'd like to think there'd still be a time for you to find some moment in your day to put on some trades. So yes, these are, like I said, from basically quote unquote last night as of the recording of this video, because like I said, they are open essentially around the clock. They close from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. each day. And then other than that, they're open around the clock, except they're closed on Saturday. So they close Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then they open back up on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, well, yeah, there is no, that one's not coming back up. Not a whole lot going on with gold here. All right, I'll pause and I'll keep looking. All right, might try to do some bottom feeding here. Start small so I can give myself some flexibility. For me, at least, when I'm trying to bottom feed, the odds that I absolutely nail the bottom, not so good. That's why I like to give myself a little bit of flexibility here. So we'll see what happens. Order down there to just get things started. All right, we'll see if it goes down there or not. I will, well, there we go. White line is the low of the day, so it's impossible for the price to ever get below that white line, because again, that's just showing you where the low of the day is at. Just an indicator that I've turned on for my platform as a reference point. So yeah, if the price comes down here, because we're at the low, that white line will simply just get moved lower. All right, I will pause. All right, once again, looking to come down a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. I'll try my first allotment there. There we go. Take that out as a scalp. I don't remember what that number was beforehand, but I know it's bigger now. So let's try again. Come down some more. Glad I got it where I did there. Again, I am bottom feeding, catching a knife, whatever you want to call it. That's why I'm starting off very small. So if I'm right and I do happen to nail the bottom, not going to make a whole lot because I started small. But the good thing about starting small is you give yourself more flexibility within the trade. So in fact, this is getting pretty nasty. Let me give myself even more flexibility. Comes down just a little bit more. Try my first allotment. Yeah, might have got a little too greedy on that one in terms of wanting to come down even more. If it bounces back up, I'll start to get more bearish minded, but this is getting, I mean, to get short right now, in my opinion, seems like you're chasing the short. But to be fair, it probably seemed like it was chasing the short right there, and now it's that much further down. So let's see here. Down. Let's just do that. Let me just throw the order down there and we'll see what happens. Again, starting small so I can have plenty of flexibility here. Maybe along here, we'll see. Now, if this starts to bounce, I'll look to get short, but if this thing does some kind of V-shape, I will be cooked. On the short side, that is. Okay, in for my opening allotment here. Again, starting very small. Blue line is my average price. Getting close to adding in a little bit more. Come on. Let's see a green candle start to form here, but maybe I'm being too greedy waiting for that to happen. Okay, did some more. Still only at 4. That first trade I took, I started at 5. So I'm not even at where I started that first trade. Come on. It's just not wanna. I've had opportunities at green, but I keep wanting a little bit more, and I think I'm justified. I want some more, but I guess time will tell. Again, blue line is my average. Here we go. I'll take that. Again, I don't know where I was, but 315. But once more, I started small. So my Mac, I had 4 contracts on that trade. I added once. The first trade I took, as far as on the video here, I started at 5 contracts. So think about that. I added, and I was still actually less than where I was on my first ad the first time, just because, I wanted to give this thing extra flexibility, which I would say, I'm glad I did that, just because, yeah, I had to sit, I had to be patient, but eventually got enough of a bounce, and didn't need a whole lot of bounce to put some green in my pocket, but it happened. So we'll go back to the drawing board, and if this thing wants to come down some more, in fact, I'll be ready for it right here, that level, and we'll start the process over again. We'll start very small, and if I have to add and do a little building, so be it. But there we go. That trade, that one took some patience. That took some patience. It took some waiting. But yeah, I much prefer the ones where, it kind of snaps down, fills you. Maybe you get to add a couple more times and it quickly snaps back in your favor. That was not one of those. That was just waiting. And it finally went, but yeah, it certainly took some patience. All right, there is the bounce. So now I'm going to start to look for more of a potential short side type. bias there. Or if you hear typing, I'm just making an alert into the private community here. All right, well, let's see what gold's doing here. The action is definitely on the MNQ here, so let's try a short here. Up there. That is the one issue, is because I'm trading the same contracts over and over again. It doesn't show individually. It's just showing, what I've made on it. So I don't even remember what that number was beforehand. I know it was a green trade, but I don't know how big of one. All right, I'll pause. All right, I'm going to start to get bearish bias now. Now, if this does just V-shape straight back up, I will be in trouble. There's no doubt about that. I'm trying to play the odds that it will not V-shape right back up. Okay, first entry point right there. Again, starting small. Okay, out there for a little scalp. I will do my next first entry. I actually like that entry quite a bit, so let's go 3 right there instead. So again, next first entry, starting small. I am bearish biased. I do not think this thing is going to V-shape straight back up. It could. V-shape recoveries do exist. But like I said, I'm going to play the odds that that does not happen. And if it does, it'll be pain. All right, I'll pause. All right, approaching. There we go. I'm in. Let's see what it wants to do here. There we go. Out on that one. Again, I know it's slow right now, right? But that's just the nature of the strategy. When you start small, if you are correct immediately, you're not going to have massive gains. So that is the give and take. But on these other ones where you have flexibility, then you can massage the trade a little bit more. Whereas if you start big, if you go, full size from the start, to be fair, if you are correct immediately, your gains are going to add up very, very quickly. But you have zero flexibility within the trade plan. So you basically have to get the perfect entry. Oh, I was a little slow. Let's see if it wants to go back up there, give me another chance at it. But yeah, wow, what a recovery. Thankfully, it's not gone totally straight up. There's been enough pullbacks that have, still allowed me to pull out some gains, but yeah. This recovery right now is no joke. But I'm still bearish biased because I find it hard to believe that it would go up straight enough to the point where there's zero, absolutely no pullbacks at all. I would find that, again, it can still totally happen. It just, that would be the exception and not the rule. I'm going to try right there. Okay, in. Let's see what it wants to do. There we go. Added some more. Add some more right there. Just waiting. Okay, I got those. Again, blue line is my average. There we go. Got those out. Very good. So again, I don't know what those numbers were beforehand, but so right there, very, very glad I started small. That one gave me a little bit of chance to build, so I had a little bit of a bigger win. I would have still, built some more, but like I said, this thing is in some senses going straight up, but it's not totally going straight up, right? Because there's these upper shadows, and these upper shadows, when you start small, all you need is an upper shadow to keep the trade green. Might try a little bit of a different trade here and just get short and throw the stop above there on very basic premise. It either rejects from this purple line or it doesn't. All right, I'll pause. I did just go. I was going to say, I guess I disagreed with myself eventually. I chose not to. There we go. I chose not to go there just because this seems a little bit strong, and to my credit, that would have been a losing trade. So I'm glad I did not go there with the stop because, yeah, I would have been stopped out. But wow. So this is officially a V shape. Down and then straight back up. No red candles, but as you just witnessed, you don't necessarily need red candles in order to still have winning, wins from the short side. Sometimes patience is required. Maybe that'll be the title of this video, Patience is Required, or Patience Was Required, something like that. But yes, that is why I like trading, because it's not like you absolutely have to have everything work out perfectly in order to make money. So yeah, again, it can sound crazy that I was making money on the short side from this move here. That seems wild, but like I said, if you start small, you give yourself flexibility, then you can massage the trade. But as you also witnessed, starting small sometimes means if you're right immediately, then your gains aren't going to be probably where you wish they were. But, market is filled with give and takes. A lot of good lessons in this video. So on that note, we have a lot of good lessons. I'm going to go ahead and call it good. This was definitely a longer video, but if you're still here right now, then bless your heart. I consider us good friends because we're over 17 minutes. But on that note, before I do go, if you are a new trader, a struggling trader, then I would say get signed up for this free webinar. If you're a battle-hardened veteran with a rock-solid strategy, you're welcome to attend, but I don't quite know if my confidence level is that high. But yes, if you are a beginner or a struggling trader, I'm very confident that this class can help point you to some things, help you think through some things, maybe you have some false perspectives, and really be an asset and add some value to you. So definitely get signed up for it, and by going to claytrader.com/live, or just check the link in the description area to learn when the next live class is. So thanks for hanging out. And on that final note, I have been live streaming. So if you want to come hang out, watch me trade live, ask me questions, then I live stream Monday through Friday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can be reminded of when I do go live. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Take care. And yeah, remember, sometimes patience is required.